Yo, this is Nolan at Home of Picks, and I play on Legends. And if you think you know MMA, this is where you should be playing as well. Right now, they're offering a 50% deposit bonus on your first buy in, and you can also play on their site completely free. The link is going to be down in the description.
Coming off of his UFC debut at UFC 319, nighttime himself, Eric Nolan. How we doing, brother?
We're doing good. We're doing good. How you
First,
doing?
first time I've talked to you since you've been a UFC boy. You have not forgotten about me yet, so thank you very much. But overall, I mean, not how was the experience yet, but how have you been afterwards with the reflection?
I'm good. I mean, it's still a loss, you know. So, but I know with a little more preparation, a little more time, it would have been a little different, but it is what it is. You learn from these things. The experience itself taught me a lot. Um, just being there for my first time and seeing how things worked. It was great. It was a good experience overall.
And the fans, all your people back home, and even those not back home. I mean, have you been hearing from a lot of people, a lot of support?
Yeah, a lot of support going, and feels good. But I want to get back out there, get a win.
And I mean, talk to me about the fight itself now before we go into what's next, because 4 days notice, obviously, all the attention went to Susurkaev with the 4 day because he just fought on Contender. But the whole time, it's also like, yo, Eric Nolan's also taking this fight on 4 days notice, up a weight class, UFC debut. So, like, was that ever a question when you got this call, I assume, from Ali? Or was it, nope, doesn't matter, I'm in, let's go?
Yeah, no, I mean, opportunity to get into the UFC and make some noise too. As much as it's like, hey, it's 4 days notice. It's an opportunity to shock the world, and I'm gonna take that opportunity every time.
And what was your actual, like, initial reaction when you got that call? Like, did you even believe it at first?
No, I mean, I wasn't really focused on that. I was looking up the kid real quick, and I was trying to come up with a little game plan real quick, and then I was on a flight the same day, so I didn't really have time to be like, all right, I'm in the UFC. It's cool.
You were on a flight like an hour later, dude. I texted you right away and you're like, I'm actually on my way to the airport. We'll talk later. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Moving you fast. But the experience overall, like, how did that compare to Cage Fury? And I'm talking both like, the promotion and also the crowd. Like, your first crowd wasn't an Apex card, brother. You had a UFC 319 sold out Chicago crowd.
Yeah, that's like something that Cage Fury really prepares you for. Like, yeah, it's not that big, but it's still, at the Hard Rock and AC, like you're still in front of a pretty decently sized crowd, and everybody's a lot closer to the cage, like, so you're hearing everybody still. Cage Fury does a great job with prepping you for that. Like, I honestly felt so comfortable in the UFC cage. Like, I think before I walked out, I was a little nervous, but then once I got in the cage and I was like, this is just like another day in the office. Like, I'm about to have some fun here. So it wasn't, I definitely give credit to CFFC for prepping the up and coming guys to get ready for that.
And I mean, like you said, didn't get the win. But when you look at the highlight of this fight, it is the end of round one. That's what got shared. You rocking him, spinning elbow, had him wobbling, going back to the stool. What were your thoughts when all that was going down? Like, were you actually in tune in the moment, or was adrenaline not making you aware of how hurt he was?
Oh no, I knew he was hurt, and but you hurt somebody with 5 seconds left. They're gonna get saved by the bell. I was mentally checked in the whole fight. I didn't expect him to start wrestling me, but that's my mistake for not seeing him gonna wrestle. But he did his job. He adapted, and he's like, let me take this kid down, and it is what it is. But with more, I was trying to explain to like my friends and family. I was like, listen, I was still training twice a day, but I wasn't. I was in the skill. I was trying to skill develop. I wasn't like getting in fight shape. Like, there's a little
Right.
bit of a difference there. And up a weight class, this takedown started to wear me down a little bit. I started to feel the weight, and It is what it is. It's not an excuse. Like, I still shouldn't have gotten as tired as I got. And, I'm not going to say, oh, well, weight class up. Only 3 days to get in shape. Like, no, it's in a real street fight. There's no, hey, wait, let's come back in a
I need a
month.
camp, bro. Hold up.
Let me get a camp before I start squaring up with you. Like, it is what it is.
And the knee, I know I texted you about this. You said no structural damage. So what? You think he just calf kicked the what is that? The perennial nerve or whatever it is down there?
No, he didn't even hit me in the calf. He hit me in the side of the knee, and it just like shut down my leg for a second. After the fight, and then I was walking on it for a little bit, and then it kind of like came back too. But definitely shut me down, and when he hit it, um, it's you're not used to. You're used to getting. I been kicked in the calf, been kicked in the
Sure.
leg, never nothing like that. But it just hit me right on the knee,
Mm.
and I was like, yeah, fuck.
I mean, hey, at least it's not, your MCL or ACL is not blown out.
Yeah,
Prefer that any day, man. But it was cool too. Just it's cool anytime Dana White praises a new fighter, but to see them praising you, man, just because I've been coming up with you, like it was awesome, dude. It was freaking surreal to see Dana White saying, "Yeah, Eric Nolan will be back." It was awesome. So, did you guys talk after the fight a little more? That is official. Do you have like a multi fight or anything?
yeah. I think it's a multi fight. It's I'm extremely grateful. The whole experience I'm grateful for, and everybody that is in the UFC is so cool, and they really do a good job of taking care of the fighters. So I'm extremely blessed and grateful to Dana White was so cool. I was explaining in the other podcast I did that like
With Junkie, I
I
saw
didn't
with Nolan.
yeah I didn't even have time to like fully like when I was like, holy shit, it's like Dana White, it's Bruce Buffer, it's Joe Rogan. Like I didn't really get to sit there for a second and be like, oh, yo, like this is fucking awesome. Like, cause when you grow up watching the sport, you're like, you see these guys every single time and you're just like, you become a fan.
Yeah.
And, but it's different when you're on that press conference stage and you're in the weigh-ins and stuff, like you're locked in. So it's like, I wish I could talk to him more, but in the future I will.
Many opportunities, bro. And obviously, like a full camp would be nice, but do you have any idea when you want to return? You said soon, so we still looking soon?
Yeah, man, I mean, ideally like November, December. Like I was an active fighter on the regional scene. I want to be an active fighter in the UFC. I think that's what keeps me on my toes, keeps me on edge, and it doesn't let me get comfortable because I'm always training for the next one. So I think it's been working so far, and why change it? Just because it's a higher level doesn't mean you let off the gas. Like it's still not shit yet. In my eyes, like I'm still not shit. So why change shit?
And I know you're the kind of guy that, especially probably now, and it just with your second fight, you'll fight anybody, whatever name they give you, you'll take. You don't give a shit. But is there names, especially moving from middleweight to welterweight, that not even in like a smack talking way, but are there names that you think would be a good fight that you're interested in?
You know what? No, I'm not. I'm not worrying about that. I'm not worrying about that. I'm just focused on getting better and getting ready, and I think I do a lot better without focusing on what other people are doing when they're fighting. Like just focused on me.
The only fight I've ever, or at least I remember you specifically wanting, was the rematch with Blaine Richards, and it took you a while to say that name again. Anyways, so yeah, you're not one for call outs. You like to show it in the cage a little bit. Is that safe to say?
Yeah.
And just talk to me about this because you can tell me if I'm wrong. Are you the lone Marine in the UFC right now? Active Marine or active in the UFC? I mean,
I think so. I think so.
that's
You
pretty
know?
cool, right?
Yeah, no, it's something I always said. I was like, I want to represent the Marine Corps in the highest level of fighting. The Marines are the most badass on the battlefield. Like, they need somebody to represent them in the UFC. So I think it's really cool. You know, I talked to Dana White. I was like, because they wouldn't let me come out with the Marine Corps flag because it's not a country flag.
Yeah, I get it.
And then I was like, yo, like, you think I could run out with the Marine Corps flag next fight? And he was like, you could do whatever the fuck you want. So that's the first step. I think the second step is to get some Marine Corps camo on the shorts, like in the future, you know?
Ooh. Yeah, because we got like the Bryce Mitchell Hunter camo, but the Marine Corps is different. That's not been seen yet.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And yeah, I believe for the fans watching, I believe Eric Nolan is the only active UFC fighter who is a Marine. So pretty
Yeah.
awesome, man. I had a lot of fans comment on my posts and just saw them commenting on like your highlights that they saw your tattoo and they were like, oh, instant fan. So
Yeah. I had to show something. I was like,
yeah, right.
something because, you know, usually I'm repping that Marine Corps flag and couldn't, but it is what it is. When you're the new guy, you know, you got to do what you're supposed to do what you're told, and you know, earn those privileges that, you know, the UFC will give you. You know.
Well, and here's the tip too. You didn't hear it from me. It's not like it's on film, but what you do is you get the Marine flag next time. You roll it up real small or fold it up. You put it in underneath Dante's shirt, and then as you're in the tunnel, bam, you pull it out and you walk out.
Yeah.
I mean,
listen, I don't want to
get the first fight in. I understand.
Yeah, I don't want to piss anybody off. You know, that's not my MO. Is to, you know, I'm not here to just do whatever the hell I want, and you know, I'm a Marine. You know, I got to follow orders. I got to do the right things when no one's watching and shit. So,
Hey, I respect it, man. That's definitely the right answer. I'm giving you the wrong answer, but I know the answer to this one just because it's going to be getting a lot of new eyes. You're in the UFC now. I'd love for you to break it down for the fans. Where do you train? Who do you train with? Where are the main stopping grounds?
you know, I trained Dante Rivera, BJJ, Nick Tones. I've been going to Marquez MMA, and even Frankie Egger's new gym that he opened up. So I'm a little here and there, but you know, I stick to those. You know, we have a good thing going.
And I mean, you're working with Luke Fernandez, who's on Contender Series in a couple weeks, Corey Anderson, champion, Frankie Edgar, all those UFC guys at Marquez. So it's not like you're coming into this UFC debut training with low-level names. Susurkaev is the same way. He's down at Killcliff, Killer Gym. So you think that really prepared you too, working with guys like Sean Brady, you know, Joe Pfeiffer, Corey Anderson? Does that help you prepare?
Yeah, no, they all have given me nothing but great advice, and I'm very grateful for them because you know they don't have to. You know, that's why like to those young and up and coming guys is like, you know, listen to those guys, hear what they have to say, you know, and like because they're there, they're at that level, they've been at that level, so why wouldn't you listen to them? And you know, all three of those men you named are outstanding people. You know, surround yourself by good people and just work hard, head down, work hard, and you know, if I could do it, you could do it.
And I mean, like, you know, walk into the gym now, UFC debut, you big dogging it a little bit? Anyone's perception change at all? No?
No,
Too humble for that, Eric?
it's not me, man. It's never been me. It's not me. I'm not. I don't like that.
I assume at least people were very excited for you and had a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They'll big man you. They'll lift you up. You just fight.
yeah. I'll just fight. You know, it's yeah. No, the home gym. You know, they were all fired up, but it doesn't change anything for me. You know Dante. Dante's right back to grilling my ass, making fun of me and shit. So doesn't change anything.
And he's focused on your brother now too. Your brother's got a fight coming up in like a month, so Dante's a busy man.
Yeah, you know, I said it. I was like, we're like the Diaz brothers in the Marine Corps.
Oh, is Mikey a Marine too?
Yeah, he was a Marine too.
I didn't know that.
So after I got out, he got in because we're 4 years apart. So I got out, he got in, and then I started school. And then once he got out, I graduated. He started school, and I was like, "Yo, listen, if you want to do this fighting thing, this is how I did it. Just do this." And he's been listening better now, I would say.
Well, shout out Mikey O'Brien, CFFC Next Gen 2, October 3rd, Atlantic City. Free plug. Got you, Mikey. Eric, another one, and I think it's my last question, but a lot of people have been asking, obviously, you know, UFC debut, people got to get a story. They clung on to you being a bouncer, man. They're like, bouncer to UFC fighter. You still going to be bouncing?
No, no way. Yeah, it's so funny when that whole thing came out. Like I was bouncing a week before. Like you still got to make a little bit of money on the side, and that bar I worked at like ever since I started going to school at Monmouth, and they've sponsored me, they've believed in me, and they're very flexible with my schedule with the training and stuff. And literally a week before, I was watching the UFC fights when I was bouncing, and this kid took a video that I bounced with, and then literally next week I'm fighting on the thing. So yeah, no, I've gotten that question a lot. They're like, "Dude, I knew you looked familiar." Like,
That's so good, man. That's so good. And I lied. I have one more question for you. And it might seem like an obvious answer, but I ask, this question to everybody who's debuting, and I get millions of different answers. It's never just for the title. But for you, what is your biggest or your, handful of big goals in the UFC?
be a UFC welterweight champ. That's the only goal I have left. Everything else I've already accomplished. I've went finished the Marines, graduated from Monmouth University, became a professional fighter, became the CFFC champ, got into the UFC, and the last goal is to be a UFC world champ. So I have all those goals written down. That's the last goal.
Ali's going to have a hard time making Makhachev versus Eric Nolan in a couple years, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, Eric, I'm playing, man. But hey, man, for real, always appreciate the time with you. I'm long overdue for a trip up to Dante's. Hopefully going to get in there for Luke's fight. I guess while I have you, may as well ask about that. How's Luke Fernandez going to fare on Contender Series October 9th?
Oh, he got it. It was just a matter of time before he got the opportunity, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the matchup. He deserves it just as much as anybody else. Like more, if not more than anybody else. He busts his ass, and he's another one that surrounds himself by good people and has his head on the shoulders. Like he works hard. He does all the right things. So it's gonna be a good day for him.
It'll be really cool to see Luke and Eric Nolan, or Luke Fernandez and Eric Nolan, both in the UFC at the same time, man. Because I've been talking to you guys about this for like 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years, however long it's been, and it's finally in fruition. So, Eric, before I get you out of here, man, anything you want to say to all your fans and your growing fan base?
Listen, I'm extremely grateful for all the support, and I'm excited to put on a show. I know the last one didn't go my way, but I'm right back to work, and I gotta prove all my supporters right. You guys support me, and I gotta do my job and come up with put some wins together. I know the record ain't pretty, but doesn't define me as the fighter, and that record's gonna start shooting up in a good way.
Love it, brother. Can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, I will link all of Eric's social media stuff below. Please go follow this man. Fight one in the books. Many more to come in his UFC journey. Eric Nolan, thank you, bro. First UFC interview with me in the books.
And many more to come.
Fuck yeah, bro.